say that it's $21,900 is $20,000. Let me show you how this works out. If you make $100,000 a year as an adjusted gross income, the IRS will allow you to subtract the $20,000 that they're going to give you as a cost of living deduction. So that way, when it's time to pay taxes, you only pay taxes on $80,000, not the $100,000. So the bank is going to look at the AGI. The IRS is going to look at how much you pay in taxes. So you can show that you make $100,000 a year, but you will never pay taxes on the 100 because the IRS is allowing you to take a deduction of $20,000. But let's go see how wealthy people handle this particular section. Remember, when we are talking about federal income taxes, the LLC cannot even be a part of the conversation because the LLC is only allowed by the state, not the federal government. So now that we're talking about federal income taxes, we know one thing: the LLC can't even help you. The IRS allows you to take what's called a charitable contribution deduction. Let's go read. In most cases, comma, stop. I bet you all be like, damn, Dwayne, just read the sentence. No, I'm not going to read the sentence because it's very important that you understand anytime that you see a comma in a sentence, you know what that's telling you? Pause. Why does the reader want you to pause? Because they need you to comprehend what the hell you just read. It said in most cases. It didn't say all cases. They need you to understand that what you are about to read after this comma is dealing in most cases, not all cases. In most cases, the amount of charitable cash contributions taxpayers can deduct on a Schedule A as an itemized deduction is limited to a percentage, usually 60% of the taxpayer's adjusted gross income. In other words, the IRS says if you make $100,000 a year as your adjusted gross income, you could subtract up to $60,000 in cash donations. So that way you only have to pay taxes on 40. Well, I'll be damned. You mean to tell me I can donate up to $60,000? Yeah, in most cases. But if we keep reading, it says qualified contributions are not subject to this limitation. Oh, what you're about to tell me. Individuals may deduct qualified contributions of up to 100% of their adjusted gross income. In other words, the IRS told you you can take 100% of your adjusted gross income and donate it to a qualified organization. Well, Dwayne, what is a qualified organization? I'm glad you asked. A qualified organization is a community chest, a corporation, a trust, a fund, or a foundation, right? Organized and operated exclusively for charitable, religious, educational, scientific, or literary purposes. So in other words, you can take all of your money and donate it to a community chest. You can take all of your money and donate it to a corporation. You can take all of your money and donate it to a trust, a fund, or a foundation. In other words, you can take every single dollar you own and donate it to a non-profit organization. The IRS ain't never told you you couldn't own the non-profit. Message. Now, who would have thought? You can make all the money in the world and donate it to a non-profit. You sure can. They ain't never told you you couldn't own it. Hold, please. We just getting warmed up. We just getting warmed up. It's coming. I'm about to teach y'all how y'all can go get funding and never use your Social Security number. Thank you for the gifts. I'm about to teach you how you can go get funding and never use your Social Security number. Hold on. It's coming. It's gonna be good too. It's gonna be good. It's gonna blow your mind. It blew mine. It blew mine. Hold on. There are so many companies that you shop at right now that are nonprofits and you don't even know it. You don't even know it. When I tell you structure is important, let's go through it. Right? Now watch. Now watch this. All right. So the first piece of your legacy that you need a nonprofit. You need a nonprofit organization. You need a nonprofit. If you want financial freedom, the legacy builder is what you need. Watch this. The NFL is a nonprofit. So watch this. Nonprofit. The next thing that you need is a holding company. Now this is where it's going to get sticky. The reason why it's going to get sticky is because you've been told on the internet, go get an LLC and just put it in a trust. Well, you know what people don't tell you about trusts? A trust does not protect against pre-existing debt. A trust does not protect against pre-existing debt. What do I mean? A trust is like a safe deposit box. A trust is like a safe deposit box. You get something and you put it in the trust. It does not protect against pre-existing debt. So in other words, let's say that you went buy a car. I'm using as an example. You bought a car. You financed the car for 5 years. You financed the car for about 5 years. So after you got the car, a year later, you go get a trust. You say, I want to put the car in the trust. And you stop making the payments. That trust not going to protect you. Why? Because when you got that car, the bank put a lien on that car. What do you think the bank gonna do? Because you got a trust, they gonna just ignore the lien? Of course not. A trust is not gonna protect that. Now I'm not saying a trust is bad. I'm just saying that you're missing something. Yeah, you can put your home in a trust and you can do all of that good stuff, but if you still owe a debt, the debt ain't going away. But that's okay. But just I don't want to get too deep into it. What I'm going to tell you is your thinking is right, but you're doing stuff out of order. You're missing something. You're missing an important ingredient. You're missing a piece of the puzzle, and that piece of the puzzle is a holding company. And let me explain to you. See, history has a way of showing us what to do if we know history. What do I mean? You see, there's a company right now that we all have heard of. We all heard of this company, Heinz Ketchup. It's ketchup. Now, you're probably saying, well, Dwayne, why are you talking about Heinz Ketchup? Well, because you need to understand history. Heinz Ketchup was first introduced in 1876. Why is that important? Because if you take 2025 and you subtract 1876, that will let you know Heinz Ketchup been around 149 years. Thank you. Heinz Ketchup been around 149 years. Why is that such an important piece of information to realize? Because guess what? Fun fact number one, Heinz Ketchup could never be an LLC, but yet you think the LLC is your ticket to financial freedom. Nope. Heinz Ketchup could never be an LLC. Why? The first limited liability company in the United States was established in 1977. Listen now. If we take 2025 minus 1977, that means that the state of Wyoming in the LLC statutes is 48 years old. Number two, the last thing that you have to understand, the last state to accept the LLC statutes was in 1997. That means that the last state to accept the LLC is 28 years old. You mean to tell me that Your ticket to financial freedom, your ticket to generational wealth is wrapped up into a structure that's only 28 to 48 years old.
Say it's not so.
What did Heinz Ketchup do for the last 149 years? Last I checked, you can still go to the grocery store and buy Heinz Ketchup. Fun fact number 2, Heinz Ketchup is not owned or controlled by a trust. But yet everybody telling you to go get a trust. Heinz Ketchup is not even owned by a trust.
It's a corporation.
So when we go look at something, let me show it to you. There are companies like Geico Insurance and many other companies. Westco, Helzberg Diamonds, BNSF. And I'm only calling out a few of the companies that you've heard of, right? Lubrizol, McLean, Duracell batteries, NetJets, Heinz Ketchup, Fruit of the Loom, Dairy Queen, Benjamin Moore, Acme Bricks, MyTech. None of these companies are owned and controlled by a trust. They're all owned by one company.
Berkshire.
Berkshire Hathaway Incorporated. Berkshire Hathaway is a holding company owned and run by Warren Buffett, the billionaire. I'm not telling you that have a trust is bad. I'm telling you that you're missing something. What you should have done is let your holding company own all of your business assets and then place the holding company in an irrevocable trust where you are the trustee.
That's right.
You see, some of us are operating our business and we're missing some pieces to the puzzle. You're missing some valuable information. Warren Buffett is a
Billionaire.
and he even understood it. Hold, please. We're moving on. I'm almost at the point of showing you how to go get funding and never use your social security number a day in your life. Hold, please. I'm coming. Now, the next piece of your puzzle is a real estate investment trust. Dwayne, what are you talking about? Let me show it to you. The next piece of your puzzle, you need land, you need real estate, you need something that you can call your own, but we so busy buying everything in our name, we don't even realize it. What you need is a real estate investment company. Why? Because the internet told you. Now watch this. Now pay attention to my voice, but look at the screen. The internet told you, don't ever buy real estate in your name. Make sure you purchase real estate using an LLC, as if the LLC not attached to you. The internet will have you believe that purchasing a real estate underneath an LLC ain't got nothing to do with you, but yet that EIN number has everything to do with you. Where I would tell you, don't use an LLC, use a corporation, but not just any type of corporation. You want to use a real estate investment trust. Why am I telling you to use a real estate investment trust? Because a real estate investment trust is a company, corporation, that owns, operates, or finances income-producing real estate stock. It's a property management company that is structured as a corporation. Why do you want a property management company such as a real estate investment trust that's structured as a corporation to own all of your property? Because the real estate investment trust is required to do something. Real estate investment trusts are legally required distribute at least 90% of their taxable income to the shareholder in the form of a dividend. Hold, please. That means at least 90% of all of the taxable income that this company makes has to be paid to the holding company. And here's where it gets good. If you open your holding company in the state of Wyoming, Wyoming does not levy either an individual or corporate income tax. You still ain't paying no taxes. Oh, but it gets better. Hold on. It gets better. Because what people don't know is whenever you go open a business and you register that business at the Secretary of State, because most people don't even understand why would I choose Wyoming over Texas or Wyoming over this or Wyoming over that. Well, let me go show you. Hold on. Don't take my word for it, y'all. You know, a pair of lips will say anything. Hold on. I'm coming. I just like to go look, get the receipts. No, I got it. They don't back it in. All right, y'all gonna have to hold on. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. I forgot to do my husband duties this morning. Bear with me. I forgot to do my husband duties. The trash is coming out. Hold on. Give me some elevator music or something. I gotta go put out the trash, y'all. Give me a second. Don't go nowhere. I'll let y'all look at it. Take a screenshot. Give me a second. I gotta go get a husband. I hear the trash. Oh.
We're on a commercial break. We'll be right back in a few minutes.
we still there?
Yep, we're here.
Lord. I'm outside running trying to grab the trash man, so hold on a second. Alright. I'm gonna pull up something else for y'all. Thank you. Alright. Whenever you register a business at the Secretary of State, what most people don't realize, it's a public database, which means anytime that you open a business, you can find out a lot about a business. There's a company called 8 Orchids. Whenever you look at the Secretary of State and you look at this company, every Secretary of State is going to tell you the type of company, when the initial filing was, but also the people who are affiliated with it. You see a guy by the name of Andrew Pierce, right? Hold on one second. I do need to take some water. I've been running outside. Hold on. I have like 4 trash cans. There was spring cleaning this week, so hold on a second. So Andrew Pierce, right? Andrew Pierce is the person that you see that's affiliated with the company, but this is what is found in public records. Public records. However, whenever I go to the owners of that company is owned by myself and my wife, right? Why did I say that? Whenever you open a holding company in a state like Wyoming, not only do you not pay individual or corporate income taxes, but it also conceals your identity from public records, which means anytime that somebody's trying to sue you, they can't sue you if they don't know that you own anything. That's why the holding company is extremely important. This is where you get the whole analogy, own nothing, control everything. It's kind of like what people are talking about. Like, how can you own stuff without people knowing that you are part of it? That's a good analogy for it, right? So now we're at the point where I want to teach you all about how to go get funding. Hold on one second. I'm going to teach you how you can go get funding and never use your Social Security number. Somebody say multiple LLCs. Again, it doesn't matter how many LLCs you have. If you have an LLC, it's still connected to you. What I'm teaching people is how to have a business that's not connected to you at all. All right, here we go. There's a company on the market that we all have heard of, and it is called FedEx. Most people believe that FedEx, the company, is one big company, and that is not an accurate statement. Thank you. Hey, thank you. FedEx is not one big company. FedEx is made up of multiple companies. FedEx is made up of multiple companies, and this is how, if you notice the legacy builder, it resembles this. This is how you're going to go get funding for your business. This is how you're going to go get funding for your business. If you walk into a FedEx office right now, don't realize that FedEx office has to pay their corporate office, FedEx, to use that name, for example. Your nonprofit is what you donate money to. Your holding company owns all of your assets. Your real estate investment company owns all of your real estate. Your parent company is your corporate office. So in this illustration, FedEx office would be the operating company. FedEx Corporation would be the parent company. Your operating company has to pay your parent company to use the name, but when we look at it and take it a step further, what most people don't understand is now, I only want, if you are new to my live, if you've never watched me ever before, I only want the new people to respond. If you've heard me speak about this, I don't want you to respond, only the new people. If you walk into a FedEx office right now, and you paid FedEx $100 to ship a package from one state to the next state, how much money did FedEx make off of your $100? Go. In any guess, how much money you think FedEx made? Again, you took $100 out your pocket and you gave FedEx $100. How much money do you think FedEx made? 50%, 20%, 100? Okay. Okay. Good. Like the answers. Well, guess what? What if I told you FedEx made $400 to $500 off of your 100? FedEx took your $100 and turned it into $400 to $500. You would be like, how the hell did they do that? Easy. I'm gonna show it to you. And what I'm about to show you is how you are gonna go get funding. You see, when you walked into FedEx office and you gave them $100, FedEx office hired FedEx Logistics to coordinate the delivery and paid them $100. FedEx Logistics hired FedEx Freight to drive it from state to state and paid them $100. FedEx Freight hired Federal Express Ground to drop it to your house and paid them $100. FedEx Ground paid the corporate office to use that name and paid them $100. FedEx showed how every single company it has made the same $100. Because FedEx understands a business-to-business transaction is a commercial exchange of goods, products, or services between two businesses. In other words, FedEx knew that whenever it's time for them to get funding, what do banks look at? Banks look at your cash flow. Cash flow is the total amount of money being transferred into and out of a business that never said profitability. If you notice, whenever you go get a loan, and I'm gonna prove it to you, whenever you go buy a house, they ask for your adjusted gross income, not your taxable income. In other words, how much money do you have coming in, not how much money you kept. Message. I promise. There's a company right now that will allow you to go get funding based on your cash flow. Hold, please. There's a company called Stripe. Stripe is a payment processing company. It allows you to take payments from your customers. I'm going to get into it, Mr. 5.0. I'm going to click on the word dashboard. Why am I clicking on the word dashboard? Because I need you to see that I'm not telling you something that I heard. I am telling you something that I have done multiple times. As you can see, it says Mac Enterprise Incorporated. I'm going to click the word capital. And when I click on the word capital, it's going to take me to a loan that I currently have in progress. I'm going to click on the word view contract. So that way you can see this is what a contract looks like. But the reason that I know that this is going to work for you is because the first time that Stripe ever gave me a loan was May 28, 2024. The second loan came 1 month later for one of my other businesses, June 2024. The third loan, October 15, 2024. The fourth loan, November 14, 2024. The fifth loan, November 25th, 2024. The sixth loan, February 20th, 2025. The seventh loan, March 10th, 2025. The eighth loan, April 30th, 2025. The ninth loan, June 20th, 2025. The 10th loan, July 17th, 2025. 10 loans, $901,000. 1 year, 1 month. No credit check. Let me prove it to you. I am $100,000 away of saying that I secured $1 million, no credit check. Let's read FAQs. No impact to your personal credit. Applying for financing through Stripe Capital might require a personal credit check under some circumstances. Does anybody want to take a wild guess? What circumstance might they check your personal credit? If you open a Stripe account using a limited liability company, not only do you give them right to check your credit, you also gave them right to hold you personally responsible in the event you default. Every loan and every account that I've ever had with Stripe is with a C corporation. Why? They can't check my credit because my name is not on the EIN document. They can't hold me responsible because my name is not on that EIN document. Now the question is, how do you get the money? Let's read. Eligibility and financing types. Stripe uses a combination of eligibility criteria, including overall processing value and history, to extend a financing offer if your business is eligible and has at least 3 months of processing history. 3 months of processing history. That ain't never said you had to be in business for 2 years. That means you can open a business account with Stripe as a C corporation how much money do you have to have? You have to process at least $1,000 every month for 3 months. Month one, have $1,000 of money come in. Month two, have $1,000 of money coming in. Month three, have $1,000 of money coming in. Well, Dwayne, what if I don't have a lot of customers? What if I don't have this? Stripe said have payments come in for 3 months at $1,000 a month minimum. Do you want to know why I told you that you have to have a legacy builder? Well, let's go look at it. Let's go look at it. Let's give some names to these things. Let's say you sold lemonade on the weekend. The name of your lemonade company is ABC Lemonade Stand. You don't own that name, ABC Lemonade Company, because your corporate office owns that name. Same thing like FedEx office and FedEx. Your corporate office has an address. Your corporate office didn't buy that land. Your corporate office not written that virtual address. Your property management company is. Your property management company is paying a holding company. Aren't you literally paying a monthly fee for your business account at the bank? What is the bank doing? Holding your money, ain't they? You're not doing no the bank is just holding your money. You paying them a monthly fee to hold it. So if you took $1,000 cash money, I don't care where you get the money from. If you take $1,000 cash money and you walk into a bank and deposit it into your business account, what law did you break? None. That money is sitting in the lemonade stand account, minding its own business, and then 1 week later, the lemonade stand gets an email from the corporate office. It's time to pay me to use my name. How much is the invoice? $1,000. You pay the invoice. Stripe processes the payment. Now the $1,000 that you deposited here is not sitting there. 1 week later, after the money is sitting at the corporate office, your property management company sends an invoice for rent. How much is the rent? $1,000. Your corporate office pays the rent. Stripe processes the payment. There you go. You don't have to file the email anywhere. Why? It's an invoice. Whenever the IRS sends you an audit, they don't ask you for email addresses. They want to see an invoice being paid. Each business is its own person. Each business has its own Stripe account. Each business has its own EIN number. This is a customer. Mr. 5.0 says, what if the invoice has the same signature? Hold, please. I'm glad you asked. Hold, please. Because this is the moment in the conversation, and I say this with love. We overthink everything, but I'm going to help you stop overthinking, and I mean it with love. Watch this. Watch. I am going to create an invoice. If you want to add a new customer, because Stripe is a computer, Stripe just asks for you the name and the email address. The name and the email address. So I'm going to put in an email address. Info at Magnolia Springs venue. This is my wedding venue. Remember, Stripe is a computer that's letting you accept payments. What am I going to charge the wedding venue? I'm going to charge the wedding venue a consulting fee of $1,000, and I'm going to hit save. So now, Mac Enterprise sent an invoice to a business name and a business email, and I'm going to hit send. Once I send the invoice, what's going to happen is, this is what it looks like in one company's dashboard. Now, I'm going to go to Magnolia Springs email. New invoice for Mac Enterprise. invoice. Use the debit or the credit card you have on file. Pay. Invoice paid. It's that simple. Whenever you send a cash app to somebody, do you ask for their social security number? No. You send the cash app to a phone number. That's it. That's it. But I'm not done. When you do this multiple times, if you did that 5 times in 1 month, you just showed how one company processed $5,000. Stripe say do it for 3 months. Month 1, 5,000. Month 2, 5,000. Month 3, 5,000. $15,000 you process. How much money is Stripe gonna let you borrow? Stripe's gonna let you borrow half of what you process, $15,000 divided by 2. That means each company qualifies for a $7,500 loan. You multiply that times 4 companies, you took $1,000 one time. You took $1,000 one time. But you showed how every company qualifies for a loan. $1,000 turned into $30,000. And here's the crazy part. They never checked your credit. They never asked you for a tax return. They never asked you for a business plan. They never asked you for a profit and loss statement. Now, let's get back to the nitty gritty because I always get this question too. Well, how much is the interest rate? Let's go read it. Let's go read it. Don't take my word for it. What I told y'all, a pair of lips will say anything. Let's go read it. Now watch this. Now watch this. Watch how I'm gonna show y'all something in everybody's minds. That's a lot of money. Cause watch, you don't know what you're reading. If I showed y'all this, what's the first thing come to your mind? Go. What's the first thing come to your mind? Go. Go. What's the first thing come to your mind? High, 24%, high interest rate, high. That's because you don't know what you're reading. Dwayne, what are you talking about? That wasn't an interest rate. That wasn't an interest rate. Let's go read the FAQs. Stripe Capital offers financing for eligible users processing payments through Stripe. Under the Stripe Capital program, business financing does not have late fees, early payment fees, or origination fees. Instead, the total amount you pay is your advance amount plus flat fee. Stop. Let me show you what y'all just looked at, but you didn't understand what you was looking at. Your loan amount is $87,000. Your fixed fee, the cost of your loan, is $17,000. There's no interest. They charge you $17,000 to get $87,000. But wait, don't go too far. You see that percentage that you saw? That's your repayment rate. Dwayne, what are you talking about, repayment rate? Well, let's go look at something. For example, let me go back to that loan. I want to show you that loan specifically, the one so that way you can see it in a dashboard. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on. I'm going to go to this loan right here. So let me show you what Stripe just showed you. Stripe don't know you. Stop. Let me go ahead and give some perspective. Stripe don't know you from a can of paint. business. So first and foremost, we can't compare a traditional bank loan to what Stripe is doing. They're not the same. Stripe said you just have to process payments for 3 months. There's no bank that's going to tell you that. So automatically you have to understand we're not comparing apples to apples. Stripe is saying, I'm going to give you a loan for 87. I'm not going to make you pay me every month. You got to pay me every 2 months. Stop. That's a 60-day minimum. Stop. Show me a bank that's going to let you pay every 2 months. I'll wait. Show me a bank that's going to let you pay every 2 months. I'll wait. Again, this is another fact. You can't compare what you're traditionally used to what's going on over here. So what Stripe is telling you, look, I don't know you. I don't know you. And I'm going to let you pay me back every 2 months. So because I don't know you, and I'm letting you pay back every 2 months, instead of me trusting that you're going to pay me every 2 months, every time a customer makes a payment to you, I'm going to take 10.5% of that transaction and I'm going to apply it to your loan payment. So if a customer gave you $100, I'm going to take 10.5% of that and apply it to what you owe me every 2 months. So if after 2 months you only collect $11,000, on the 61st day, I'm going to debit your bank account $627.78. But what happens is every loan that you get from Stripe, they give you the power to choose. On my website, if you go to the blog section, in the blog section, there's a blog that says Stripe offered me loan number 9. Right? When I click this blog, check this out. I even give people the actual ticket to how this works. So when Stripe offers you a loan of whatever amount, you're going to see a green that you can slide left and right. Why do you slide that bar left and right? Because what Stripe is telling you, if you don't like the original terms, slide the bar left. Slide the bar right. Slide the bar to the amount that you can afford in the terms that you can afford. For example, when they gave me $217,000, my repayment rate was 20% per transaction. This new loan at $250,000, I did 12.7% per transaction. Show me a bank that's going to let you choose your terms. So when people say, what's the interest rate, you got to understand, we got to talk about, we got to compare apples to apples. We got to compare apples to apples. Stripe isn't your traditional bank. They're not going to give you an SBA loan where you can pay back and you got to pay the loan off in 5 years. Stripe don't work like that. Stripe will give you 18 to 24 months to pay it back. It's about leverage. You use those as leverage, but it gets better. It gets better. Dwayne, what are you talking about? Hold, please. Hold on. Go read the terms and conditions. It gets better. Let's read. Not only do they not check your credit, they report the performance or payment history to the Small Business Financial Exchange. If you don't know what that is your business business Experian credit report. Why is that such an important thing? You see, because y'all believe that you can go open a Uline account, a Granger account, a Net 30 account, a gas card. Y'all think y'all can go open those accounts and then walk into a dealership and say, I want a car. You mean to tell me a car dealership is going to give your corporation a brand new vehicle because you show that you can pay an Office Depot card on time? Oh, please. Hold, please. What did I tell y'all? A pair of lips to say anything, right? Don't believe nothing that I tell you. Make me prove it to you, and I will. Hold. Where's that video at? Where's that video at? Where's that video at? Where's that video? Not that one, Dwayne. You're almost there. You're almost there, Dwayne. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Come on, Dwayne. There we go. Ooh, come on, Jesus. There is a God. All right, now watch this. Y'all ready? Pay close attention. You see, I'm a log on to Experian. I'm gonna log in. And I'm gonna view latest report. What that say? That say Mac Enterprise Consulting, right? You see, if you want a loan from somebody, your business credit report has to be able to show that you have term loans that you have paid for. You see, every time Stripe gives you a loan, they put that on your business credit report. Dwayne, why is that such an important thing for people to know? Dwayne, what are you trying to tell people? Well, let's go see. Let me show you how I was able to purchase a brand new 2025 Cadillac Escalade, and they never checked my credit one time. Please watch the video. Come with me as I show you how I purchased a 2025 Cadillac Escalade with no credit check, using a C corporation and never having to give my social security number one time. Yesterday, my day started out where I had to fill out a business credit application with Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands on yesterday. I spoke to my salesperson, Johnny Criswell, and Johnny sent me over the application, and he said, Dwayne, make sure that you start the application by telling them that you want to apply for the loan in just your business name only. So here you will see that I am entering in my business name only, and at this moment, right, you want to make sure that you're listing the business name exactly how it is on the Secretary of State's database. You want to make sure that that information matches perfectly, and as you notice, I selected corporation. That's a very key point. I selected corporation, and the date of incorporation, again, it does not matter. You want to make sure that you enter the information exactly how it's listed on the Secretary of State's website. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and enter in my EIN number. This is the number that you get from the IRS. You want to make sure that everything matches exactly what's listed on the IRS document as well as in the Secretary of State's database. Enter in your phone number, and I entered in my salesman's name. His name is Johnny Criswell of Bayway Cadillac of the Woodlands, and we went ahead and put in me as the authorized signer on the business. Again, I just have to put my first name and my last name, and and select the box that says I intend. Again, I just have to put my first. By clicking this box, I intend to apply for credit in the name of the business and am relying on the business income and asset stock. I am relying on business income or assets. I am relying on business income and assets. Pay close attention. Don't you miss this. Watch this. And I made an error here. Excuse me. I forgot to add another to the EIN. And at the very bottom of the application, you want to go ahead and select the box that says I intend to make this purchase in the business name only as a corporation, a C corporation. So right now we're going to go ahead and enter in the address that is listed on the Secretary of State. It does not matter if you move, whatever the case is, whatever the Secretary of State has in their database, you want to make sure that you put that information exactly as it states on the Secretary of State, because the Secretary of State is a public database. You want to go ahead and put in your watch this. Watch this. Annual sales. Now here's the most interesting part. I never had to submit one piece of financial document. I didn't submit one document to GM Financial. Not one. So you all will notice, well, Dwayne, you put that you make $4 million in sales. Did you not see where it said they're going to rely on the business income for verification? Where would GM Financial verify my business income? I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked. When you look at the business credit report, your business credit report will show your sales. Now here's where it gets real good. You see, my credit report showed that I did $4 million. So if my credit report shows that I did $4 million in sales, then my application to GM Financial must match. But how did Experian get this number? Where did Experian get this $4 million sale? You see, when you click submit update, Experian will allow you. Experian will allow you to update your sales figures. How does Experian allow you to update your sales figures? Well, whenever you update your personal information, your business information, when you get to the annual sales, they said $4 million. By clicking this email, by clicking this box, Experian will permit you to update this figure if a supporting tax return or audited financial statement is provided. I'll upload the profit and loss statement. If I want that number to change today, I can upload another profit and loss statement. I can upload profit and loss statements for every company that I have. And I can let Experian know what I make. I tell Experian what I want Experian to know. I tell Experian what I want Experian to know. So then when I go tell Experian what I want them to know, that's legal. What's legal? What's illegal about it? Uploaded a profit and loss statement. Now I've told the public what I wanted Experian to know. So now guess what? Whenever I go apply for a car, a credit card, a house, whatever, Stripe says you have to have a board of directors. That's an untrue statement. I don't have a board because I'm a private corporation. Y'all better get off the internet. When you go Google and ask ChatGPT, they give y'all information that's based on public companies, not private companies. You see the point that I'm making? When you don't know how to connect the dots, thank you, Ms. Tyra, thank you so much. When you don't know how to connect the dots, or you don't know what dot connect to what, you put yourself in a position to where you can't go get funded. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You see what I'm saying? So, and here's where it's crazy. Here's where it's crazy. Now, I'm going to show you this, and I have to say this. Can you be audited? Yeah, of course I can. If I submit documents to the IRS, that makes them want to audit me. What you think, the IRS just pick you because to get audited? No. You want me to tell you the number one reason why people get audited? You know the number one structure that gets audited? S-Corps. Let me tell you why. You know why S-Corps get audited the most? When you file your taxes in S-Corp, you know why that's the most audited, quote-unquote, tax structure? Because people don't even know what the S-Corp is. People don't know what an S-Corp is. Let me explain. Let me explain. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If y'all give me... All right, hold on. Thank you, thank you. Let me explain. All right. Before I explain what the S-Corp is, just out of curiosity, if you consider yourself a small business owner, type the number 1 in the chat. If you consider yourself a small business owner, type the number 1 in the chat. Let me explain what the S-Corp is. You ready? All right. First of all, an S-Corp is not a business entity. I'm going to say it again. The S-Corp is not a business entity. All right, Dwayne, what are you talking about? Let me prove that point to you first, but I'm going to explain to you why people go get the S-Corp election. Whenever you go register a business for the first time, you go to the Secretary of State to open the business. When you go to the Secretary of State, the state will say, first select the type of entity for which you wish to submit a filing. First select the type of entity for which you wish to submit a filing. You notice the S-Corp is not an option. The S-Corp is not an option. So when you say, I have an S-Corp, no you don't. That's an untrue statement. Why do people tell you to file your taxes as an S-Corp? Let me explain. All right, let me explain why people tell you to file your taxes as an S-Corp. Whenever you work for a job, let's say you work for Walmart. Let's talk about that for a second. If you work for Walmart and you make $40,000 a year as an employee, if you made $40,000 a year as an employee, you fall within the federal income tax bracket of 10% to 37%. Okay? Which means if you made $5 a year, you automatically fall within the 10% tax bracket at the federal level. Thank you, Ms. Tyra. I really appreciate it. If you make $40,000 a year, you fall within the 12% tax bracket So on $40,000 a year, if you work for Walmart, you would pay 12% in federal taxes. Well, every employee has to pay Social Security and Medicare. When people work for themselves, you have to pay the self-employment tax. The self-employment tax is Social Security and Medicare. The self-employment tax rate is 15.3%. Whenever you work for Walmart, you do not pay 15.3% because Walmart, being your employer, has to pay half of your Social Security and Medicare. So when you receive your paycheck from Walmart, you would have 12% of federal taxes taken out, but you would only have 7.65% of Social Security and Medicare taken out because Walmart has to contribute the other 7.65. Whenever you file your taxes as an S corp, you have to be an employee of that company, which means whenever you pay yourself as an employee, you're going to have federal taxes taken out and 7.65% of Social Security and Medicare taken out. Guess who has to pay the other 7.65? Your business. You still ate it. You just got on a hamster wheel and you didn't go anywhere. You were given an illusion that you went somewhere. But here's where it gets even bad. You ready? Watch. Let's go to the tax return. Whenever you file your personal taxes and you have to put the additional income on line 8, that means you have to put the income from Schedule 1. Whenever you go look at a Schedule 1, look what it says on line number 5. Rental real estate, if you have rental properties, you have to place that income on your personal tax return. Royalty income, you have to place that income on your tax return. Partnership income, you have to place that income on your personal tax return. S corp income. You thought you were getting away from something, but it all still came back to you. It's funny how that works now, doesn't it? The whole purpose is to get the business away from you. So, I'm going to talk about 3 ways that I can help you. An S corp is a tax election, it's not a business entity. I'm going to tell you 3 ways that I can help you, but I need y'all to hear me closely. Please understand. I didn't come on here and spend 2.5 hours because I needed something from you or I wanted something from you. If you notice, in 2.5 hours, did y'all ever hear me say share live? Did y'all ever hear me say tap the screen? No. I'm not knocking anybody who says it. I am giving people information. I don't want you to think that I'm giving you the information because I need something from you or I'm selling you something. I ain't selling you nothing. I gave you free information, didn't ask you for anything, so that way you can say, hey, I got information. I do own a company, which is a consulting firm. I do help people. I do provide services. If you want my help, I can show you how I can help you from a business perspective. But I don't want you to think that I need you to be the client. I gave you the information because I genuinely want to help you understand that there is a way for you to change your financial situation. Okay? All right. With that being said, let me tell y'all 3 ways that I can help you. And I need to talk about these three ways because I think people are still getting confused by them. I need y'all to let me finish. Let me get to the last part, and then I will answer. I will stay on as long as I can to answer questions. I promise. But I need to kind of talk you through this. Excuse me, talk you through this so that way you can understand what I'm talking about. All right. Number one, before you can say what you got going on, before you can talk about all of the strategies that you want to come up with, right? You have to understand that every business has to have a set of steps to become successful. Every business has to have a set of steps to become successful. What happened is we went straight to step 3. We went register the business at the Secretary of State, and we went get an EIN number. What we didn't realize was the Secretary of State was a public database, which means you could not go get a virtual address for a business that never existed. So guess whose information you put in the public database? Guess whose address you put in a public database? Yours. And the moment you put your information in a public database, you went straight to step number 5. I need to get business credit. You didn't even realize that by you putting your personal address in a public database, you connected yourself to that business. So when you applied for business credit, you couldn't understand why you had some, you were running into some challenges. It's because the information that you put on the business credit application doesn't match what's in public records. And then people say, well, could I use a P.O. box? No, they don't verify business addresses with P.O. boxes. And I'm going to explain that to you. I'm going to let you look at it. In fact, I'm going to let you look at it right now. Hold, please. Hold on. I don't want you thinking I just made that up. Hold, please. I'm coming. All right. Come on. Thank you. Come on. It's, hold on, y'all, I'm coming, I promise. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's talk about this whole, I'm gonna talk about a few things that you all are doing and you don't even realize what you're doing. In a sense of, you're telling people about you all the way from the beginning. You're giving people information and they're automatically making a determination about based on what you put on the application. You don't even have to open your mouth and they're going to treat you a certain way and they prove it to you. One of the most prestigious credit cards that people say, now I'm not talking about which one is better. When one of the things that people say is if you go get an American Express business credit card, you made it, you know what I'm saying? American Express, you got good credit, you know what I'm saying? Like you're doing some things, right? Watch this. Whenever you go to the American Express business credit card page, don't you find it interesting that the first thing that American Express tell you, there is no impact on your personal credit score to learn if you are approved? Stop. Why is that highlighted on a business credit card application? I thought the business was separated for you. So if the business was separated from you, why mention my personal credit anyway? That doesn't make sense. Well, let me show you why they mention that. Whenever you go to an American Express credit card, a business credit card, whenever you read the terms and conditions, American Express is very clear. By submitting this application, you as an individual and authorizing officer of the company are agreeing to be jointly liable with the company for all charges. You thought because the business credit card just had your business name on it that they didn't pull your credit. That's a lie. They sure did. They made you partly responsible, even with your LLC. Because you didn't understand that when you apply for a corporate card, you can't even apply for that online. Had you understood the corporate card requirements, here's what it would have told you. American Express, thank you for your interest in an American Express corporate card. You see, whenever you go down to the authorizing officer information, that's a first name, last name, date of birth. Do you see them where they ask you for your social security number? Yes or no? Do you see a box that says social security number? Yes or no? How do you get approved for a corporate card? Well, let's go see what they asked for. Legal name should match your financial statements. Stop. Legal name should match your financial statements. So when I tell people that they need to have a bookkeeping system in place, that is because you're going to need a bookkeeping system to print your financial statements. It's funny how American Express makes that the first thing that they talk about before they even talk about what's the business's Secretary of State information. Then it says tax ID, corporate phone number. So if you're using a Google Voice number, they're not even going to pay attention to you because that's not a corporate phone number message. Corporate website. You think that you just have to, I don't need a website. I don't need it. You automatically put yourself out the running. Period. What's your business address? We will need details about your business headquarter location. Must be a physical street address, not no P.O. boxes permitted. Some of you all been taking yourself out of the running. Why? When it asks you for your authorized officer information, it says business email address. Do not use personal email account like Gmail, Yahoo, and Hotmail. Some of you all are still calling yourself a business owner, but your email address say your first name at gmail.com. What you present to people automatically let them know what they're dealing with. So when I tell people, all of a sudden, when I tell people to put their business on a journey to success, that means we have to do a set of things that are going to put us in set. So what we should have done, a business plan is what we should have come up with. Why? You know why people are scared of business plans? Let me explain it to you. You know why people are scared to do a business plan, realistically speaking? Because in the business plan, the first thing that it talks about is the mission and the vision of the statement. I mean, the mission statement and the vision statement of the company. Some of you all only wanted to make money. You didn't want to solve a problem. What products or services that you're going to offer? What gives your product or service a competitive advantage? What market are you going to market your product or service to? Did you do a customer analysis? How did you even come up with your prices? Oh, just be cheaper than the next person? You see, whenever you focus on price, you miss value. Nobody told you to start that business by yourself. You should have thought about who's the organization and the management. Who's going to run that business for you? Just because you were broke, that doesn't mean that you're meeting business standards. Just because you didn't have the money to hire nobody, that doesn't mean that you're meeting business standards. Business doesn't care about your financial situation. Your customers don't either. What's your operations plan? What's your financial projections? Are you going to need a loan? Because everybody said that they want a loan, but do you have some sort of, do you even know how you're going to repay it back? What about when we have another COVID? What happens if TikTok shuts down? How are you going to deal with competition? What if somebody talks bad about your reputation? They give you a 1-star Google review. So when I talk to people about putting their business on a journey, I'm talking about there's a difference between being a business owner and a hustler. That's two different things. What you should have done is come up with a plan, make sure that business had its own identity. Then you want to make sure that the information that's in the public database matches the identity. You need a website. This is the one place that people can go access you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The fact that you call yourself a business owner and you don't even have a page where people can go see what you have to offer. So now when you go apply for business credit, the business creditors can verify your information that matches here, that coincides with this, and God forbid you have to give a business plan that coincides with that. You need bookkeeping to track your expenses. You need to have a better business bureau profile. This all allows you to have credibility. So guess what? Whenever you have credibility and you go register to do government contracts, you see? Think about it like this, and I always use this analogy. If I came pick you up from your house this morning, and I said, come take a ride with me to Walmart. You get in the car with me and we're driving down the street. On the left-hand side, there's Walmart LLC. On the right-hand side, there's Walmart Corporation. I'm gonna ask you, right? Which Walmart you wanna go to? Instinctively, you're gonna say, well, take me to Walmart Corporation. And if I ask you why, you would say, well, Walmart Corporation seems like it has something that the LLC doesn't. Just in that nick of time, you're going to make a decision on which Walmart to go to based on what you see and perceive. What sounds better? But not when you tell everybody you got an LLC, you never consider that person is comparing you to a corporation they just met with. You judge other people who have an LLC. Imagine how many people are judging you. We never account for perception, but perception is real. So when I tell people I can help them, there are 3 ways that I can help you. The first way is I got to teach you. I have to teach you. So when people say, oh, this is just another class, well, I beg to differ. This isn't just another class. This is a class that you have lifetime access to that's going to teach you everything about how to put your business on a journey to success. Some of y'all are probably saying, well, Dwayne, I already have that. You're right. You and the LLC have that. Does your corporation and the corporation's EIN number have that? So when I tell people I have a master class, this master class is designed to teach you how to build your business the right way, how to write a business plan, how to build credit, how to go get funding, how to build a legacy. I just added 4 new classes a day and a half ago. And I'm going to show it to you. Don't take my word for it. Let me prove it to you. I just added 4 new classes. I'm going to show it to you right here. Come on, computer. The people want to see it. Hold on. Let's see where I put that at. Here we go. It came with 6 classes. I added 4 more at no additional charge. What are the 4 that I put? I show people how to open a Chase account without walking into a bank. I even break down the Stripe rotation. I teach people how to build a Stripe compliant website, and I did a whole hour-and-a-half Q&A on commercial leases and Stripe processing. So this masterclass comes with 10 videos and a host of ebooks. This ebook, How to Build Your Business, teaches you step by step where to go to get a domain, where to go to get this, where to go to get that. Should you use Google Workspace? Should you use Wix? How to write a business plan. All these ebooks. There's a guy by the name of I Am King of Credit. He teaches people how to repair their credit. He uses Black's Law. All of this. The first way is $499 lifetime access. Any changes or additions that I make to the masterclass, you get all the changes and additions as well. You will always have access to it. The second way, I have a master's degree in business, and I can honestly tell you, school never taught me nothing that I learned that I taught you all today. School didn't teach me this. Even with a master's degree, school didn't teach me this. I teach business owners twice a month because I realize that there's no college that is just for business owners. Business owners don't have a university. Employees have a university that they can go to. But a business owner does not have a college. So I decided to put together the new Business Owner University where we teach classes twice a month. It's like your business owner's night school. Whenever people join this, it's only $99 a month. My bachelor's degree costs $10,000 per year. $40,000 for a bachelor's degree, not to mention my master's degree, not to mention when I was in my PhD program. $99 a month gets you access to 2 classes every month, but here's where it gets real good. You ready? Here's where it gets real good. Whenever people join the university, you get access to all the 35 lessons that we've already taught. So when you sign up at $99 a month, you get access to 35 lessons. The third way that I can help you is for the people who are looking to build a legacy. For people who are looking to build a legacy. That way you can put yourself in position to do the Stripe rotation from business to business. I put together a legacy builder package where we open the companies for you. We convert your LLC to a corporation for you. We write you a business plan. We give you access to the masterclass. And for the full version of it, we actually do your first year's corporate tax returns. We have a starter package. The starter package does not come with the corporate tax returns. The full version does. It shows you and it breaks down everything that you need. And when people sign up for the Legacy Builder, I even give you a breakdown on what it comes with, how much money you spend, how much is the value, how much you save. And if you can't afford to pay it in full, I have payment plans. Everything that comes in the packages are listed here. What you get in the starter, what you don't get in it. you get started with a nonprofit, that means we're going to also fill out your 501c3. I'm not trying to convince you to purchase the Legacy Builder. I'm telling you the Legacy Builder changed my life. I'm not trying to get you to invest into my company. I'm telling you that Legacy Builder changed my life. I have been doing business funding for many years, and I have never been in a situation to where I got not only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have never been in a situation where I got 10 loans in 1 year and 1 month. I've never received funding at $900,000 with no credit check for working capital. Every company is treated as a person. Every company has its own bank account. Every company has its own EIN number. When people say, how do you pay so many loans? Well, you shouldn't be going to get a business loan if you can't pay for it. Come on, y'all. I need you to, come on. I'm not being harsh, but I'm just saying, when people say, well, how do you pay it back? Well, I have a business. I control 28 companies on paper. You don't go get a loan if you can't afford to pay it back. Why do you need so many loans? To grow and scale. Thank y'all so much for coming in. Thank y'all. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to attempt to answer a few questions for about 15 minutes. So y'all, I need y'all, before we do this, I keep saying it, before we get into the Q&A version of this, y'all, try to just come up and ask you a question. I would love to hear everybody's story, but for the sake of time, genuinely, and I mean that, for the sake of time, let's try to give other people an opportunity to come up and ask their question. I do not do business in TikTok DM. I do not do business in TikTok DM messages. I feel that it's unprofessional. What I do tell people is follow the screen. I'm going to turn my screen around and I'm going to show you what I do tell people is I only have 1 TikTok account. If somebody is messaging you, hey, how you doing? It ain't me. Okay? What I do tell people is if you go to my profile and you see where it says and 2 more, if you click and 2 more, it's going to take you to my company's page. It's going to take you to my YouTube. What I do with the YouTube is I take a lot of these lives and I repost them to YouTube and my IG. But when you click this button right here, this takes you to the website. Okay? So, I am going to attempt, but please, y'all, please, I'm not trying to rush anybody. I'm not trying to rush what's on your heart to say. What I'm just simply saying is I genuinely want to try to get through as many questions as I can. Okay? All right. Here we go. I know that's not who I think it is. That's not Yoli.
It is. I know I need to update that picture.
What's up?
How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I am ready to do this legacy builder. What I'm thinking is you talked about how you've already registered your LLCs, you're already in the database. Is that something we clean up or do we dissolve the LLCs and then get started brand new?
No, we're gonna convert it for you.
Okay. I'm gonna email.
Are you still?
Yeah.
Man, we gotta connect.
Yes. So I mean I have your email. I was just gonna send an email and tell you where I'm at, and then go from there.
Y'all, the reason I know you and I used to work together back in my oil and gas days. Long time ago. Good to hear from you, Yoli.
You too. I'm excited to get started, so I'm emailing you now.
All right, cool.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. what's up. All right, let's go. Let's go get it. Let's go get it. Let's go get it. I'm coming, y'all. Good morning.
So much for taking my questions, Mr. Dwayne. When you are converting from
Before you say anything, I didn't receive that second email from you.
no, I know I have to. I know I didn't forget. I trust me. I did not forget. That's coming this morning.
All right, okay.
That's coming this morning. I did not forget. Trust me. Thank you for that. But when you are shifting from an LLC to a C corp, does the business structure history remain in the public database?
You do not lose your age at all.
Well, you keep the age, but just the history, because I know with certain things, it'll show the history of the changes that have been made to a business.
Absolutely. So 100%. So yes, the history will always stay the same. They gotta keep a record of it.
But is it public?
I've never seen a case, and let me give you the strategy behind it, right? So typically, whenever you go, let's say apply for a loan at a bank, the bank will verify the business's formation date. The bank rarely goes in to look at the history of the changes to the company. They look at the formation date. However, let's just say that somebody at the bank did go look at the history and saw that it was an LLC. To help that, what I do is when I do convert people, we can actually amend their tax returns from 2 years previously to put their business income on a corporate tax return to show that the business has been a corporation or operating as a corporation for these 2 years.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you. All right, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. I feel like we're gonna get through a few of them. We're gonna get through a good piece of them. So let's go. I like it. Let's keep it pushing. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. How you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you for the wealth of information you provide to the community. It's outstanding. So,
Thank you.
my challenge has been, CPAs, when you change, the advice you're getting as to what kind of structure you should be and why, as we are learning and growing, getting a qualified, competent tax preparation support. Do you guys do that on your end? How do I might have a C corp, but do I have somebody that can help do my taxes that understand the structures and why I'm set up the way I am? Does that make sense?
No, it makes all the sense in the world. So when I started on this journey, so remember, I own a tax office. I own a consulting firm. So I intentionally did it that way where not only on the consulting side do I teach people how to do it, but I also have a way for me to help you do your bookkeeping or your taxes because I do have a tax office as well.
Okay, and that tax office, doesn't matter where we are, we can still connect and get all that part. You also mentioned amending. I'm currently an S corp. Why? Because of all the reasons you said. From LLC to S corp, and now I'm understanding, that's not the right structure. So the amending, this would require a result in amending previous returns to get, in making the change from S corp to C corp.
Great question. So what I typically do, every person's tax situation is different. There are some cases where I do amend. There are other cases where I don't amend. We just start brand new, right? If that makes any sense.
It does.
So it just depends on the person's tax situation. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Okay.
Kiki, do you want to help me out, Kiki? Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Yes. It sounds like you have all the support needed to get the person moving along. I hope it is affordable also.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you, Kiki. Thank you. 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 Are you Danielle? You're a mod too, right, Danielle? Yep, you're a mod as well. Hold on. Tanya, you're in here. Krista, you're in here. Okay, great. So, mods, I need you to pay attention, please. If y'all can help. Thank you. For the ones who are available, if you can help me out in the comments, please. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I just had a quick question, mainly for my husband, because he owns an LLC currently. And the LLC is doing relatively okay, it's doing fine, but my husband is considering filing a personal Chapter 7. And with the business that he has, it's an online retail company, essentially, where he works with manufacturers and vendors directly and retails their products for them on their behalf. But a lot of that deals with relationship building, and he, so far at least, I guess because he has an LLC, and the things that you've explained, he basically has to submit his personal credit to these manufacturers to see if they're going to approve the company to work with them, and on what terms. So if they're willing to do a 30-day or 90-day, or if everything has to be paid up front, etc. So he's very, very concerned that if he does that, then that would hamper his ability to open new relationships with new vendors and manufacturers. So basically, I was telling him about you, and maybe the best decision for him would be to switch to a C Corp. He has not gone ahead with the filing yet. He's just considering it. I'm personally, I don't think, I would prefer not to do that. I understand where he's coming from. But I'm just not exactly sure if the corporation set up, I'm assuming that would be helpful, but I don't know, given what he's considering doing, I don't know the impact that would have.
Great question.
So I hope that makes sense.
No, it makes all the sense in the world. So what I would recommend is, I'm not against Chapter 7. I'm not against bankruptcy at all. What I am against is people doing it without knowing all of the resources that they have to help him. I would definitely recommend that before even going that route, I would definitely recommend him to at least go the conversion route to change the LLC to a corporation. Because I guarantee you, when he presents the corporation to these particular manufacturers, they're going to treat him differently. It just is. And I'm going to tell you a true story that happened to me. When I first got an Amazon account, kid you not, when I first got an Amazon account, I applied for net 30 terms or whatever those terms was with Amazon with my LLC, and I got $1,500, like a $1,500 limit. The moment I converted my business to a corporation, Amazon automatically gave me $10,000, just based on pure structure alone. Businesses will treat you differently. So before he goes that route, I would definitely recommend that. I would also like to understand, how much debt he has, because there could be a way that we can kind of help him get up out of it, right? Without having to go that drastic route.
Yeah, definitely. And he doesn't have a terrible amount of debt, really, which is part of the reason why
Is it less than 100,000?
Yes.
Is it less than 50?
It's around 50.
I would not do Chapter 7 at
I
all.
really, yeah, that's what I've been telling him. I genuinely don't think that that's the only option, and he's just feeling very stressed over everything. And he basically wants to do it for more ad spend for the business. He's thinking that if he does that, then he can help the business in that way. But then you're hurting the business at the same time. At least with its current setup, being an LLC and everything, he's going to have issues with the suppliers.
Yeah, I definitely would do that. So I would recommend. I would definitely recommend. Joining the program could definitely help him. If you want, I would also recommend maybe having a scheduled consultation. Somebody can, on my team can kind of help. But I definitely 100% 100%. I wouldn't recommend that route without looking at all the other options first.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much. And we can set up a consultation via the link?
The website, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Dwayne? I don't know. When you're converting an LLC to a corporation, and you have, I'm not sure you know the answer to it, but if you have a credit card under an LLC, what do you do if you're converting it into a corporation? If that makes sense?
There's nothing that you can do. The liability still falls back on you because you had to co-sign for it. What I always recommend to people is don't shut the cards down. But even if you go back to your credit card company, they're not going to just take your credit card and make it into a corporation. They're going to tell you that you have to apply underneath the corporation by itself, right? So in some cases, you can foster the relationship and they can kind of help it get pushed through. In other cases, you just have to go a different route. But I don't recommend people closing those cards just yet, just until you can actually build up the corporation itself, so that way the corporation can get its own credit. But the cards don't just close, right? And that's because the reason why the cards won't ever close is because they use you as a PG. As long as you are around, that card can stay open.
Understood. And then my last question would be, how do I connect with you to convert from LLC to a C Corp?
So we do have on my website, I can actually turn my camera around. If people didn't want to purchase anything in a package, right? If people didn't want to purchase anything in a package, they just wanted a particular service. When you go to my website under programs and services, this is where you can schedule consultations, purchase the packages, or if you click programs and services, what it'll do is if you scroll down on the website, it'll have a list of all the things that we do a la carte, right? And you just scroll down and you hit load more. Once you hit load more, you will see that there's an option to convert your LLC, and you can just purchase that by itself.
Got it. Thank you so much for sharing that information. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
So much. Yeah.
All right. Somebody asked, why am I in Houston? And I got companies all over the U.S. I got companies all over the U.S. I live in Houston.
Hello, good morning and good afternoon and good evening for everybody all over. Yes. All right. I just want to give you your flowers here and now. Like, you are literally leveling the playing field. So this is not a question. I'm just telling you, you're doing what I don't see nobody on this platform doing. You are literally making it so accessible to everybody. Like, you're not treating this one better than that one. You're not saying because you gave this gift and that gift, you're gonna get this preference. And I love how you run your show. Like, I genuinely like my heart is pounding right now. I appreciate the way you do business because I was observing every last bit of what was happening in the comments, in the chat, everything. And I just love the person that you are. You're a pure soul. And I want you to continue being that way. Don't let nobody change you with whatever they think they can change you with. Still stick to your script. Still do what you're doing. Because listen, you're gonna have so much more success than you're having now. Everything that's coming your way, I don't know if you're gonna be able to handle it. Like, just keep being who you are. That's all I have to say. Keep being who you are. Don't change for nobody. Because trust me, I see a lot of things on this app. I'm only here 9 weeks and I've been watching everything. Trust me, you're doing great. Keep it up, okay? Keep it up.
That means a lot to hear. I definitely appreciate that. 100%. I received it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You know, y'all, let me say this before I take somebody else, and I need y'all to hear me. And I promise I'm going to take some more questions, but I want to say something. Most people don't understand why I do what I do. And I'm going to share something with you all, not because I want sympathy. Please understand. Not because I need anybody's sympathy. Not because I want kudos. I don't want none of that stuff. I don't want it. I'm sharing this with you all because what I want people to understand is, why do I feel the need to help people? And I grew up in a situation where I was forced to become a man. I was forced to become a man sooner than I needed to, right? Everybody has a story on why they are where they are. I just know that I've been on the wrong side of things for a very long time. A lot of the decisions I made came from being unhealed as a man. A lot of decisions I've made came from a place of wanting people to like me. A lot of the things that I did was because I was broken. I didn't know what love was. I didn't know what it was, so I attached my things to people. I attach myself to people, all to be seen. And the point that I'm making is, I used to live in a space of, I always wanted to help people, but I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it to try to hopefully fix something that was broken in me. It wasn't until I was able to address Dwayne. It wasn't until I was able to go to therapy and to understand where those triggers were coming from. Those triggers were coming from, I wasn't all the way healed after being molested as a young kid. Those triggers were coming from because I had resentment towards my mother. I had resentment towards my mother because I felt like my mother didn't create an environment for me. I started to blame fault on my mom without knowing my mom's story. I started to fault my parents without understanding their story. I was always thinking about, why is it that I had to go through this? Why is it that I had to do this? And I never did ask my parents, why is it that you all moved in this manner? And when I realized that they moved in the manner that they moved in because they weren't taught, it started to really uncover for me that this is where the generational curse comes in. This is where you don't ever understand. All we do as people is we look at what we are going through, but we never understood what the other people went through to even handle it. So my mother did what she knew to do in her power at that time. But the point that I'm making is, even when, there was a moment when in my life in high school where I didn't think I was going to see tomorrow, because I knew that that day I was going to check out, if you understand what I mean. And when I realized why I wanted to go through that process of checking out, not wanting to be around anymore, it all stemmed from a place of wanting something, from a selfish place. I felt like, because I couldn't get my way, I felt like everything was going bad. It was always about me, 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 me. So when I became a parent, I married my first wife, not because I was in love with my first wife. It was because my first wife got pregnant, and I knew I didn't want my children to grow up the same way that I did. So what is the next thing that you should do? You should go ahead and get married. I didn't marry for vows. I didn't marry because, for thicker or thin, for better or worse. No, I married because I didn't want my children to be without a father. What I thought was functionality was dysfunction at its finest. So what I knew to do was based on all the things that I didn't want my children to be, not because I was taught or coming from a place of what God wanted me to be. So there were so many times in my life where I was hit with things and hit with this and hit with that. And every time I was hit with something, I became to develop a pattern. God, if you allow me to get through this, I'm going to do right. I remember there was a time when I went to work. My wife at the time, she was going out of town, and my kids were at the bus stop. I'm getting off of work and I get pulled over for a traffic ticket. But I didn't realize that I had a warrant for an outstanding traffic ticket. I didn't know that. So here it is, my kids are standing at a bus stop. And the cop put me behind the car, taking me to jail. You could even tell that even the guards in the jail were looking at me like, why are you here? This isn't a place for you. But that still didn't take away that I was there. I bonded out, but the worst thing that happened to me was there was a moment where I wasn't there for my children. I went through a process of infidelity in my first marriage. Why? Because as somebody that's a broken boy, I'm not healed. I didn't go to therapy. I pushed everything under. I felt like I needed to hear or get some affection from a woman because I felt like my first wife wasn't doing something. So I stepped out even in the church. I done been through so many situations where I asked God, can you please help me? And then it got to a point to where, okay, seems like I understand this cat and mouse game that you're doing. Let me go ahead and sit you down. And he didn't just sit me down. I was placed in a position to where I didn't have nobody to call on. I was placed in a position to where it didn't even matter who I called. Nobody would hear me. I was placed in a position to where I literally lost everything. When I got divorced from my first wife, what helped me turn my life around, I have 2 boys and a girl. My first wife, I have 3 daughters with my, she had 3 daughters, well, they're my daughters as well. But in my first marriage, when we got divorced, it was my daughter who caught me cheating. My daughter said some words to me that broke me, and I tell you, you can't take that back. See, my daughter used to brag about her daddy being her king. I was her king. Everybody knew it. That was my dad. That's my dad. That's my dad. And when she caught me texting another woman, she said, I don't see you as my king anymore. My children's relationship and I struggled for 2 years. My kids didn't want nothing to do with me because they couldn't believe a word that I said, because all they saw was their dad speaking things, and my actions did not align. Daddy, how you say you love my mama, but you cheated on my mama? Now, they didn't know the details of it because I was too embarrassed to tell my children that I was molested, but they didn't care about that. All they saw was what my dad says and does doesn't add up. And it was in that moment that I knew that the only thing that can actually build that relationship back was God and God alone, and I knew then that I would go do everything, because I couldn't just tell my children everything was going to be all right. I had to show them that everything was going to be all right. I had to go to therapy. And I had to face Dwayne. I had to figure out who Dwayne was and what Dwayne wanted. And when I realized Dwayne was a broken boy in a man's body, I didn't know how to love a woman, because everything about a woman I know is based on my resentment from my mother. Everything that I know about a woman is based on, my need for a woman's attention because I was touched by a man. You see, it's a different situation between being touched by a woman and touched by a man. Because as a young boy, I didn't understand what did I do as a young boy to make a man touch me. You see? So when I had to face that truth, when I finally told my parents, like any other parents, would be in denial. They were in denial. My dad was mad, and my mom was like, "What? How could it happen?" And at that moment, it was like, "What do you mean how could it happen? Y'all left me alone." I placed all that blame on my mama. I placed all that blame on my parents. I even placed the blame on the person who touched me. When the reality is, that was my story. I was carrying anger for a long time. So basically, when I asked God to help me through this situation, when I went and get healing, I told God from this day forward, I'm going to do everything I can to help people in every way that I possibly can. I'm not going to allow my lips to say anything. I'm going to allow my actions to do the speaking for me. And I went on a whole journey to making sure that people understood that the only reason that I got to where I am today is because God brought me there. The only way that God brought me there is me having to surrender and to submit to His will. More importantly, it became a point in my life where I had to realize it was never about Dwayne. It was always about God. And when I started to realize that the more that I show people that it ain't about me, that it's about God, God starts to open doors for me. So when I tell people I only come on here to help, it's because God helped me. And if I can take my experiences as a business owner to help someone else, that's what I'm going to do. Because one thing that I do, I don't come on this app to make money, because I know that it's not the app that provides for me. I am grateful for every client that ever crossed my door. I am grateful for every experience. I understand now that God brought you to me. I didn't do it on my own accord. All I was supposed to do was get up and go teach, not worry about who would be listening on the other end. So what I do is I get up and I come teach. Period. So to hear those words a few minutes ago, it touches me because, let me show you why. I didn't expect this. I received a text message yesterday. I received a text message. I didn't know that this happened. But yesterday I received a text message. This image. TikTok posted me on their page saying go live the way top consulting creators do. I would never jeopardize this position for being dishonest. I would never jeopardize this position for not being a man of integrity. I would never jeopardize this position for likes or shares. I would never jeopardize this position for coins. I would never jeopardize the position that I'm in to do anything that would go against what God has done for me, that would be displeasing into His sight. Let me tell you all right now, there is not enough money that anybody can pay me on this app to go against what God has done for me. Period. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Will I do everything to make it right? Absolutely, I will. I am grateful for every client. But I would be nothing without God. That's why I do what I do. Uh-oh, I don't know what happened. Let's try this again. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. I'm coming, yo. Hello.
Good morning, brother. This is Hope. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. We've been on since 6 a.m. in LA, so you've been blessing us. Just to tag on to what you recently shared, a scripture that came up to mind was Romans 8 that says the sufferings of this present life are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is about to be revealed to us. So that is a living testimony for me and you and all of us up here. So just God bless you, brother. Thank you for your generosity. I lead a talent and production company.
And we're structured pretty decently on the talent side. But on the production side, we have always been encouraged to create LLCs for films because they're short-term projects and they go away, basically in about a year. So the way that you're sharing, we should not be structuring them with LLCs. In your case, real estate is your company under your holding company. Would the productions be that for me?
Your production company, what I heard you said, you have a couple of operating companies, to be honest with you. So, for instance, your production company is one thing, the other company is another, and then Hope Incorporated can be the parent company. Hope Property Management Company can be the real estate investment trust. Hope Foundation can be the nonprofit, and then just Hope Holdings can be the holding company. Does that make any sense?
I'm sorry, I missed it. So the films, because they're turning over quickly and we're basically closing them and starting a new one for a new film, or a new production, that goes into which category?
That would be your operating company. So
your operating, okay.
Operating companies, and you would just have Hope Incorporated as the parent company, and then you can do Hope Property Management for all of the real estate, Hope Holdings, and Hope Foundation. But the film and production would be two separate operating companies.
Okay. Well, we're definitely going to be latching on to some of your services. We really appreciate you. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, brother.
All right. Eyes coming. I'm coming. I'm going down the list. What time it is? 10:30. Let's see. Okay, I got a little time. All right. Hello. Okay, let's try it again. All right, y'all. I'm trying to get to y'all. I promise I am trying to get to everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for taking my call. I want to also thank you for your ministry, because when I opened up TikTok this morning, the day before I had already been praying, God, I need help. And you were the first person who came up, and God said, stay here. And so I did. Similar to the sister that talked earlier about going through multiple CPAs, I have been through 4 CPAs. I am in LLC nightmare with taxes. One of the things, like you explained on the 1040, how you get your adjusted gross income reduced, based on your deductions, but you also get that LLC as your income. And when your personal income is already high, you end up paying more taxes. So I will be setting up an appointment with you to just kind of talk to you on the CPA part of things, because I have to get my taxes together because business sectors are due the 15th of September because I filed an extension. My question as it concerns to my personal income, I have a pension. Now, one of the things I noticed on my pension is that I have an option to have my pension paid to a trust. So my question is, would it be wise, or is it an option to put your personal income into the business and then have the business pay you as an employee?
First of all, it is an option to do that. I just would never pay myself as an employee anymore. Because whenever you pay yourself as an employee, you have to pay employment taxes, right? So the whole idea is to stop paying taxes. You don't put yourself in a situation where you have to pay taxes, right? So when it comes to your pension, it doesn't matter how you get the pension, whatever, because it's your pension. You're gonna, delay paying the taxes and deferring the taxes, that doesn't mean that you don't have the taxes. What we have to do is make sure that you understand whenever you get the money out of your pension, you can do whatever you want with the money. You can put it all into a business account, whatever the case is, and then when you put it in a business account, how do you get the money out? I would take a qualified dividend, but more importantly, I would probably start getting into the habit of making sure that my businesses own everything and not me, because if my businesses own everything, then basically the businesses would pay for me to live versus me having to be an employee.
This is a true pension. This is not a 401k.
Okay.
This is a true pension through the state of California. I have a CalPERS pension, so I'll get a monthly amount. So there's no option to put it into a dividend or anything like that.
But so can you get the money and put it into your businesses? Yes. You can get the money and help grow your businesses. You can, because you can set up Stripe accounts and do the rotation, whatever the case. There's a lot of different options that you have, to be honest with you. There's a lot of different options, but when it comes to the taxes, it's definitely something that we can help you with. We do it all the time. I've seen almost every tax situation that possibly is. I've helped people with audits, so anything tax related, we can definitely help on that side.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, and I will set up an appointment for consultation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so a couple questions that are coming in the comments. People saying what company do I open first? Do I open a parent company? Do I open a REIT company? Do I open this? Do I open that? It don't matter what company you open first. It doesn't matter. Why? Because we show ownership on the bylaws, we show ownership at the annual report, and we show ownership at tax time. It don't matter if you open one today, one next week, 2 months from now. As long as we made the shift of the ownership within that taxable year, we can make it work. Don't get hung up on what you should open first. I promise you, don't get hung up in that. I know that's a loaded statement, but don't get hung up on, should I do this first? Should I do that first? Don't stress yourself, I promise.
This is my first time watching you, first time interacting with you. I think it was destiny that I came across your site today. I've been locked on hard. That being said, I have started my own LLC. I have 2 properties that I fully own. I don't have a mortgage or anything on. I'm trying to build, but I don't know exactly how to go about it. And I'm looking for you for any expertise you can lay on. Tony, Tennessee.
No problem. No problem.
Excuse me, sir.
You have a lot of background.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the car driving. We're going to a seminar with my daughter right now.
No problem. So you say you had a problem. So you say you have properties that you own?
Yes, sir.
Do you have mortgages? Do you have mortgages on this property?
I do not.
All right, great. I'm going to drop in.
Thank you.
All right, so if you're in a situation where you have a number of different LLCs, you have properties, whatever the case is, my first order of business is to tell you to convert that LLC into a corporation so that way it can separate you from the business. The other thing that I would do is the properties that you do own currently, I would contact a title company and I would tell the title company I want to do a title transfer. You want to get the titles out of your name and put the titles into your real estate investment trust. So that way your real estate investment trust can actually start generating revenue for you. And this is where all of your assets that you can leverage to make other moves. Your operating company would be your LLC that I would convert. And I would, use that to start generating revenue. But if you're trying to grow and scale the business, I would definitely use this model, use the Stripe strategy as a way for you to start secured income. But there's so many different ways that you can do it. But the first order of business is to get the LLC converted to a corporation. That's something that we can help you with. And you want to get the properties out of your name, and then, put those properties in the real estate investment trust, and you can use them as leverage. coming, y'all. It's coming. Hello.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Alrighty, so the question that I do have, for that, greetings, I appreciate you. I have a C Corp that has actually gone into I think it's distillation? Yeah, so, would it be best that I take that out and, continue with that particular business or just start a new one?
How long ago has it been?
2 years?
What state?
Florida.
What kind of business is it?
Catering.
Are you gonna still do catering?
Correct.
I would pay the fee to get it reinstated.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, I had another question, but I can't remember, but I'll drop it in the comments when it comes to it. Thank you. All right.
I'm coming, y'all. Hello.
Good morning. You still mess me up with your personal stories. I'm trying to get my thoughts back together. Because I know I did tell you before that I started an LLC because I have an educational consulting business. And so I am pivoting it to the C Corp because I've been listening to your messages. I just wanted to know, what do I do with the current EIN that I have that's under the LLC once I switch it over to C Corp?
Throw it away. You're not going to use it anymore.
Okay. And then my next question is, I don't know if at some point you were an employee, because I do agree a lot of what we learned through education was to become employees. Because I myself have been in education for 17 years. How did you pivot to being a business owner and just putting in the time? Because I am I don't like to say single parent, but I am raising, my child alone. And just trying to make sure everything is balanced so that I'm building my business, but also making sure I'm parenting and available for my child's needs. So that way I'm not putting the business before family.
Fair enough. All right. Great question. First of all, I can't take a lot of credit, right? My wife has been very instrumental in this journey for me. And I say that to say, you have to look at it in two ways, right? Most people that are in relationships, being a business owner is very hard, especially if your significant other doesn't support you.
Right.
Because it can cause tension in the house, right? So my wife has been, first of all, a supporter in believing in me as being the man and leader that she trusts my guidance. As a single parent, where you don't have that nuance, right? You're trying to decide, how do I be a mother? How do I be a parent? How do I be, a woman? How do I be a business owner? The unfortunate answer is business doesn't care about that.
Correct.
So for me, I had to get into a period where I had to lock in. What do I mean lock in? I had to truly sacrifice a lot. What do I mean by that? I didn't eat out as much. I didn't go places as much. I just used a lot of my time to become better and pivot, because I knew at that moment when I became a business owner, if I didn't work, I didn't eat.
Correct.
It was scary. It was extremely scary in the beginning, because why? I didn't even care where the money came from. If somebody was willing to pay me to do something, I was going to do it. I wasn't thinking about my brand. I wasn't thinking about the longevity of it. All I knew is I needed to eat that week.
Correct.
So when you go through that process, right, the toughest decision that you're going to have to make is, do you believe in the business or you don't? And the reason why I say that is because if you believe in the business, then that means you're going to have to sacrifice something, even being a mother, even being a woman. If you believe in it, and if you put into it, right? So for me, I gave myself timelines. I said that I was going to take 6 months to just lock in. I had a conversation with my wife, and I told my wife for the first 6 months, I'm here, but I'm really not here, right? So that was very important. And in your case, you would have to just talk to your child. I'm not sure how old the kids are.
He's 15. He's going to 16, and I've been having these conversations with him, and I'm trying not to cry, but I just gotta be honest because he's seen my dad be that example.
Yeah.
And my dad has been deceased for 4 years now, and so just trying to even restructure because I never wanted to personally own a business because, like you said, it's you sacrificing your family.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I watched my dad do. Just work so hard. And so, but because I want to really teach my child about generational wealth, I'm going through the process. And he sees me up literally sometimes 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm having these conversations with him and showing him. But sometimes, if I be honest, it gets so tiresome where I'm not even getting all the hours of sleep like I normally would, but I know I'm helping others. I'm seeing the results. I'm getting the results. I just wanted to know if I could, like, how did you pivot from being somebody's employee? Because 17 years into a career that I love, it's amazing. Yes, I have things that I've had these investments in, but I know the demand now is the business, but I'm not comfortable walking away from a full-time job yet until I see the business has the income that's sustaining enough to leave the full-time job because I'm still in the building phase. Because even though I've been in education for 17 years, I started my business literally a year ago, and it's like working day and night and still trying to make sure he has the childhood that he deserves. And so that's the piece that I wanted to know, like, what should I look for in my numbers to know that, you know what, this might be a good time to leave it. And I'm definitely praying and asking God as well, because I love being in business for myself. I'm learning what somebody has showed me for years, and it's like, I know it's the way to go. So I feel like I'm just now getting into it, but it's just like it's hard when it's just you being the only person because I feel like I'm sacrificing even sleep right now.
Yeah, to be very honest with you, and this is going to be, you having a job is making you comfortable. You not give the business everything the business. When I first started my business, and I'm just going to be honest with you, when I started my business, I was sitting, I'm not going to say what company, but I was sitting at work. When I actually filed the paperwork, I was sitting at work. And I must have sat at work maybe 2 weeks. But in that 2-week time frame, from the moment that I started it, I didn't really do much. I was forced to just depend on the business. But even when I left the job and I was forced to depend on the business, I was doing two things. I was still looking for a job on the side, while still trying to be a consultant, right? Yes. So I was splitting my time and trying to be a husband. You know what I'm saying? I was splitting my time all over the place, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. You're only going to get the result of the effort you put in. Which means if I want my business to give me the life that I want, then I got to give my business everything it needs, and it needs all of me.
Yes, okay, I see what you're saying.
So you are not going to push past your comfort zone until you leave the job. Now, I don't know your financial situation. I do not. I'm just telling you, your business will never give you the reward until you give the business what it needs to be able to take care of you, and that's all your time.
It is, and that's why I said I get it. It is the time.
And now I'm going to say this, and this is a true story. You know, my kids always knew that I was going to take care of them, but my kids always knew that. Like my youngest son, right? He even texted me a few weeks ago to share that he felt like he missed out on having time with me because I was working so much. He understood why I worked so much. He understood that I was doing it for them, but that still never took away from him wanting his dad.
Correct.
What I can tell you is the only thing that has been helping me, if I'm honest, is by me and my children splitting our time. What do I mean by that? My kids sometimes come into my life. My kids spend time with me in my world, and then I spend time with them in their world. So for you and your son, I would encourage you to think about how you can bring your son into your world a little bit to kind of help you on the business side. You know what I'm saying? So that way, because at least y'all are still spending time together. So it worked for me when we have that balance, right? It works for me as I teach my children entrepreneurship. So we spend time in my world while, so we're spending the time, right? And I'm teaching them, but I'm also taking time to spend in their world. So we're sharing each other's worlds, and that's helping us spend time together.
Okay. I can try that. Because it's like I'm telling him after the fact.
Yeah, no, bring him in.
Like, yeah, okay. I'll try to, maybe I won't feel as burned out until I make that faith to just leave, the main job. But thank you so much. I've been, like I said, watching you for weeks trying to figure out. You're giving great advice. It's been information overload, and I'm just trying to get together. But I haven't really heard him say it, how he was able to do it, even though, yes, we are.
If anybody tell you that it was easy, they lying to you. If anybody tell you that they wasn't scared, they lying to you. If anybody tell you, listen, I hear what you're saying, but I got this rent to pay. If anybody tell you that they ain't think about that, they're lying to you. What I am telling you is there's two places that you have to be in. You either have to be in a space of where you're going to trust God with everything, or you have to be in a space where you want to help God. I can promise you, tell you, when I thought I was going to help him, I thought I was doing what was best for me, but until I just said, I had to believe in me. I had to believe that there's no way in the world that, again, I prayed about it, God told me yes. Mm-hmm. There's no way in the world he's going to tell me yeah and then not, you know what I'm saying? Like, not do it. I just had to trust it. Will it be uncomfortable? Yeah.
And that's a space I'm in right now, because I know with, being in business, and I don't have to tell you this, it comes with a huge risk. Yeah. And that's where I can feel that pressure, but I can see the reward of being in my own. But the reality is, like you said, mortgage got to get paid, other things got to get paid, and I just haven't seen the business produce enough yet where I say, you know what, this is it. Let me
ask you a loaded question. You say you haven't seen the business produce enough yet. Is that what you said?
Financially, yes. Yeah.
Did you give the business 100% of your time yet?
No, because I've been trying to balance it all out.
You see?
Yes,
the business is saying, I want to give you 100%, but you're not giving me 100%.
Correct. That's why I had to come on here and ask, how did you do it? And it makes perfect sense. And thank you so much, because I know you got to get to other questions.
Thank you. I got so many people that have testimonies in terms of them pushing past their comfort zone. I know it's easier said than done. Listen, I'm not naive. I don't want you to think I'm some superhero. I'm not naive. I get it. You feel me? I do get it. I just want people to understand that you can't expect anything from a business that you aren't willing to give the business.
Hello?
Hey.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Perfect. Thank you so much for letting me join in. I appreciate you. I learned so much from you. My name is Marie Ocean. I have an office supply company in Florida. And it's an LLC. So after listening to you, every single time, basically, I don't care what I was doing, I see your name pop up in TikTok, I'm leaving it, we're going to join. That's just honest truth. So after listening to you, I know I realized I make two big ones. I started with an LLC, and I started with the wrong address. We are in the process. I have to leave that because we mostly market to government, and even though we can sell to anyone, but mostly I target schools and government offices. So now I know what I have to do. My next step is to definitely change the address. I've been blessed. I have a company that is someone that just opened a brand new building. We're gonna get that commercial residents to have the address changed, then change it to the corporation. And for a fact, you're already my coach. You will be fully, because I have to get that corporation where you do the taxes. I'm gonna join them.
Yes, ma'am.
But in the meantime, because I'm going to do my corporation somewhere in August once I get the address changed, because I want to change the address to the LBT, so that way they don't ask me so much question, then I can go fully with the corporation. But how do if I make a sale to the corporation, right? Because most of my customers pay with credit card. After I open the Stripe, how do I remove money from the bank account for the corporation because it's not the same way with an LLC. Because with an LLC, you're the same person, you can just transfer the money. But with the corporation, I know I may not be able to do that. That's why I wanted to join.
The corporation is seen as a person. So basically all you're doing is you're just invoicing companies. You're just invoicing your companies. It doesn't matter that you are the person that's behind the invoicing. You're just basically allowing the companies, right? Each company is its own person. Each company is going to have its own Stripe account. Each company is going to have its own bank account. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. You just invoice the companies one by one.
So what about in the meantime? Because honestly, I might be able to get that full package you have somewhere in September.
Okay.
Because we're getting ready, but because I started school and school just going to open, and I've been going to event with those schools, and I can see the future. Because most of the expense is gonna come from my account, because when they place an order, because we partner with company like computers, HP, Xerox, and all those brands, Microsoft. So when it comes, one of them place an order, I have to ship it before they pay me. It's not like a regular person pay me, then I ship it. So all of those expenses are coming from me until they pay me within that 30 days. So how I can just go ahead and create an invoice personally and send it to the company and let the company pay me back?
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem.
I am one of your future students. You pay me more. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Come on. Okay, got it. Morning.
Good morning. I'm also in the car. Is it loud?
No, you good.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now I kind of have more questions off of everything else other people have asked, but quick background. I have had an LLC built since like 2021, 2020, something like that, but I never used it. My dad and I both were diagnosed with cancer, and I was taking care of him while trying to take care of myself, and never use it. But as far as the history, could I keep the history and turn it into a corporation, even though the business that I actually have in my heart that I want to do has nothing to do with the previous LLC, or should I just start?
Yeah, so if you want to keep the age, you can keep the age, and then we can convert, we can change what you do, still keep the age.
Okay. So it was like that's when everybody wanted to do drop shipping. So I tried to go into that with the LLC, but my heart, I've experienced kind of something similar to what you experienced as adolescents, and I just want to go into having group homes for kids that have nowhere to go.
Yeah, a nonprofit for that.
Right, and I'm in Houston, so I'm just trying to see if I can take that aged LLC and just convert it completely and take off with that.
Yes, you can.
Cool beans. Now, based off what the lady said previous to me, if she was asking about the Stripe account, you're connecting your bank account to Stripe?
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Overall, if I go ahead and convert, how would I structure with the format? Like
what format would I use to transfer over to the group homes as far as like the nonprofit, the holding? Like, how would I, what different companies, is all the same, do real estate, like you said, and
Yeah, basically the legacy builder that I showed, you'll just structure everything based on that.
okay. Alrighty, that's pretty much it. That's all I had to ask. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Bye-bye.
All right, y'all. Let me go. I think I need to I need to give some clarification real quick because I'm seeing a lot of questions around the same thing. Let me give y'all some clarification. Here we go. Let's lock in real quick. All right. Every company on this paper, stop focusing on holding, stop focusing on nonprofit, stop focusing on real estate, stop focusing on parent company, stop focusing on operating company. Before you can tell these companies what to do, all of these companies are people. So now, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let's say you got siblings. Let's say you got brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews. Do y'all all share the same bank account? Yes or no? Do y'all all have the same social security number? Yes or no? So what am I saying? You're so stuck in the middle, meaning you're thinking about you being the one that's owning the company so much so where you're forgetting the one fact. All of these people are separate people. They're all separate people. They're all separate people. So that means each of those companies have their own EIN number. They each have their own bank account. They each have their own address. They each have their own website. They each have their own everything. Okay? Now, here's the point of context that you're missing. In reality, the only two companies that your clients, your customers, will ever know that you have is your operating company, because this is what makes you money. If you have a nonprofit, this is what you do for charitable causes. The only two companies that have outside people, outside clients, outside customers is this one and that one. All three of these people, they are only there to help you. This one is going to help you because it's going to hold all your assets and not make you personally responsible. This one is going to help you because anytime that you want to do something in real estate, this has some benefits to do with real estate. This one is going to help you because this one is going to own your intellectual property. None of these companies are public facing. All of these companies are sitting in Wyoming. Nobody ever knows that you have these companies. If you want to use these companies to go get funding from Stripe, Stripe is a computer system. The computer system only allows businesses that have customers to use its platform. So since you want to use these companies to go get money, I now have to treat these three like this one to satisfy Stripe. To satisfy Stripe. That doesn't mean I tell my clients I have a holding company. I'm just telling Stripe 4 people are doing business with each other. This one sent an invoice to that one sent an invoice to that one, Stripe doesn't care that this is holding your assets. Stripe doesn't care that that's a real estate company. Stripe doesn't care that it's a parent company. Stripe sees that this is a company that makes money. So guess what? Send an invoice for consulting. Send an invoice for consulting. Send an invoice for consulting. Why? Because Stripe is a computer. That's it. You are telling a computer that you have business customers or customers. But don't overthink this process at all. Whenever you do send a cash app to somebody, do you have to put in their social security number? Whenever you send somebody Apple Pay, do you have to give Apple Pay an address? No, you're using a computer system to send money from one place to the next place. So what we're doing is we're using these companies to send invoices from one company to the next company. The computer system saying, depending on how much money you got coming in, I'm gonna let you get a loan. Whenever you go to the bank doesn't need to know that it's a holding company. The bank doesn't need to know, because why? Whenever you go to a bank account, whenever you make a deposit, do they ask you, hey, why are you making this deposit? The bank never asks you, why are you making this deposit? In fact, whenever you do give them a deposit, they don't ask you, why did this person give you the money? So since the bank only never asks you that, stop telling the bank everything. I need to open an account. What's the name of this account? You ready? Watch this. Don't y'all miss this. Don't y'all miss this. Do not miss this. Do not miss this. Hey bank, I want to go open an account for my corporation. The name of the corporation is ABC Lemonade. What does ABC Lemonade do? It's a consulting firm. It's a lemonade stand. I want to open an account for this. This is a consulting firm. Consulting firm. Consulting firm. Why? The bank is just holding your money. They're holding your money. They're holding your money. When you start telling the bank your strategy, the bank is like, what? Huh? It's holding what? It's doing what? You got all these question marks. The bank is holding your money. Open the account. Can you convert an LLC to a corporation? In some states you can, other states you can't. Can you fix the LLC? Meaning that, can you get up out of an LLC? Yes, you can. If you filed your taxes, it don't matter what structure you bring, it can be changed. It can be corrected. There is no situation where it can't be corrected. The reason why I put together the master class, if I'm being honest, I put together the class to break it down in a way that would let you hopefully not overthink it. Right? If it can't be converted, there can be a merger. There's always a way. You see what I'm saying? There's always a way. And I'm saying that to say, I know this is a lot of information. I know this is new, y'all. Like, I don't expect nobody to leave this live an expert. I know this is new. I know that this is a lot. Look at the bright side. You ready? Prior to you learning this information, you kept hitting your head up against a wall. I've now shown you that you don't have to hit your head up against a wall. There is a way that you can reach financial freedom. There is a way that you can do stuff without it being tied to your social security number. I just got to get you out the way. What do I mean? I got to get everything that you thought, and I got to get you to throw it away. Go into this thing knowing that it can work. Okay? It can work. It can work. I know it works. It's worked for me over and over. And unfortunately, this is my time, y'all. I gotta go. I've been on this thing since 7 4 hours. I got to go. If I didn't get to you on the Q&A, I do apologize. It's not intentional. It's just, I have to go. This is my time. I thank each and every one of you all for listening. I thank each and every one of you all for continuing to show up. Lord knows that I want nothing but the best for you. I genuinely want you to be successful. I cannot want it more than you want it for yourself. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I want to share something with you all, and I'm going to get out of here. When you enter into a new phase of your life, you have to recognize that the people that you normally talk to, they won't recognize who you are. For example, there are so many people that know the old Dwayne. I have to reintroduce them to the new Dwayne. I don't have to force the new Dwayne on them. I just have to stick to my expectations. Nobody is going to come to you with gossip unless they have a door open for you to walk in with gossip. Nobody is going to come to you with negativity if they don't know that you're going to listen. So when you reintroduce people to the new version of you, that is by your actions, not your mouth. When someone brings something negative to you, walk away. When someone wants to gossip, don't listen. That's all your choice. You know the best thing that could have ever happened to us on social media is our ability
To walk away.
to unfollow. If you don't like what people post, stop getting mad at the post. Unfollow.
Exactly.
If you don't like what people comment on, okay, don't follow them. That's your choice. You have to protect your space. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but hear me closely. There are a lot of people that will bring to you that they are spiritual and that God led them and they have ulterior motives. Your job is not to be the God police. Your job is to use your own spirit of discernment. Everybody who talk about that they're for God is not for God. Everybody who talks about that they want to help people, they don't help people. Let me be clear with you. Your job is not to be the God police. Your job is to ask God for the spirit of discernment. If something does not feel right, don't question it because the person seems like a nice person. If it does not feel right, walk away. There's no need to be angry. There's no need to go back and forth. At the end of the day, your job is to protect your peace. The best way that you can protect your peace is listen to what God tells you to do and to be obedient. You see, if I sit in a conversation of people gossiping and it makes me no different than the gossiper, if I entertain negativity, then it makes me no different than being a negative person. The problem is, what happens is we want to always try to fix people. Your job ain't to fix nobody. Your job is to make sure that you hold yourself accountable. There are a lot of times when people get into situations, let me tell y'all something. It's not that people are bad people. Y'all just might not be good for each other. There's no love lost. It's okay. Everything has a season. When you go in these TikTok streets and you're supporting people, your job is to support the people, not worry about the comments. If you want to give to somebody because God placed it on your heart to give, why don't you go ahead and give and stop asking for something in return? Because at the end of the day, it defeats the purpose of giving. You don't need to be recognized for what you do for somebody. For what? Because did you do it for attention or you did it because God told you to do it? There's a difference. The reason when I go in rooms, I don't ever want to be shot out and say, Dwayne in the room, because it is never about me. It is never about the coin. It ain't got nothing to do with me. Be mindful and ask yourself, are you looking for attention or approval from God? I'm going to say that one more time. Are you looking for attention from man or approval from God? Those two are not the same and they will never be the same. Are you wanting to be a business owner because you want people to say, oh, I know them? Or you help me solve my problem? Some of us want the popularity, but we do not want the persecution. Some of us want the reward, but we do not want the sacrifice. What I can tell you, the day that I stop making things about me, the day that I start making it all about other people, the moment that I started to put other people before my needs, I realized, well, that's what God was. See, it's almost like we're going to a park. You see a group of people over there. You see a group of people over there. When you look to the right, you see there's only two people. When you look to the left, you see there's a whole bunch of people. Now, part of you, because you're nosy, you want to go see what everybody's doing. But yet, what I've understood was God sitting over there. Because what God doesn't need is he doesn't need cheerleaders. He needs disciples. He doesn't need nobody to talk about how good he is. He needs people to walk in his image. He doesn't need you to argue on his behalf. He says, stand on my word and my word alone. At the end of the day, stop trying to please people. Because the last time I checked, a man ain't got a heaven nor hell for you. Your job is to wake up and do everything with decency and order. Operate with transparency and integrity. If your integrity has to be questioned, I guarantee you, you have a God issue and deal with that. If I bring up your name to anybody and all they have to do is say something negative, don't be mad at the person saying something negative. What did you give them positive to say? You feel me?
Felt.
Being a business owner is not a popularity contest. Being a business owner is not about who can be the richest. Being a business owner is solving a problem. What problem are you solving? If you're doing it for attention, then that means you're not doing it for approval. Everything that I do has to be approved by God and God alone. Love y'all. Have an amazing day. Peace.